So you have your degree and you're ready to apply for a job now. So the good news is that applying for a job in the chemistry industry is pretty much the same as applying for a job anywhere else. So the same basic steps is what you're going to go through, but it's taken up a level because now you have more qualifications and the jobs are a little bit more picky about who they look at. So the first thing you want to do is get together your resume and cover letter. So a resume is a very short summary of all the skills and accomplishments that you've obtained while getting your degree. A cover letter is pretty much a one-paragraph statement that summarizes, what's your degree in, what are your most prominent skills, and why are you interested in applying for a particular job at a company. So these are a little bit tricky to put together, so I'm going to send you guys a template, and I'll be talking about them more here in just a second. But you definitely want to write it and get somebody to read it. So one of the professors, I'd be happy to read them for you. You get them to check on it because they're a little bit counterintuitive sometimes. So definitely get somebody to read them. So once you get your resume and cover letter together, then you find a job. So you want to go online, find some major job search sites. The one I looked at was monster.com. Find 2 or 3 of these and then start looking for jobs. So you want to go into there, type in words like chemist, and be a little variating. Use, like scientist, technician, things like that. You want to get the widest reach that you can and look at the most jobs that you can. And once you've done that, you should still check back. If you're still looking for a job, you want to check back about once a week and see if any new jobs have popped up. So when you found a job that you're interested in applying for, you need to go and research the actual business. You want to make sure it's something that you're going to be interested in doing and in a good area that you're not going to mind living. And you're going to update your cover letter. So it's just a basic 1 or 2 sentence about why you are interested in that job and that business in particular. So you just need to update that. And then you really just send it in. So in the job advertisement, they should have an email of probably an HR person. You put the cover letter in the body of your email and then send them your resume. And that's as simple as that. The problem is you got to remember to repeat this, and you need to remember for each job that comes up, there's multiple people that are applying for it. So you may not get every job you apply for. So you want to make sure to keep trying and applying. If you do not have a job and you're trying to get one, really you want to kind of carpet bomb, apply for any job that you think you would be interested in, because it might take a little while to get a job. So you got to think of it, they talk about this ratio of about 20 applications may get you 3 interviews, may get you 1 job. And that may not be true, but it's the basic idea. You're going to need to send in a number of applications and go on an interview or 2 to make sure you get a job at the end. So, don't hold back and apply for them one at a time. Once you do get a job, then you can be much more selective. You can apply for jobs. If you don't get it, that's fine. And then because you're already working, then you can be selective and apply for another job, and pretty soon you can switch. But if you are actively trying to get your first job, which is going to be probably the hardest one because you don't have any experience, go ahead and apply for any that you think you're interested in. So you're going to need to repeat this process quite a few times. Then the next part, you have to remember that the businesses are going to be looking for more out of you. You're going to be an important asset to their company. So the interviews are a little bit more involved. Probably if they're interested in you for this job, they should get back to you fairly quickly. They tend not to lag on this. Probably 24 to 48 hours, you'll hear back from them. They might want to have a phone interview, just talk to you on the phone, and then typically they want you to come on site for a visit and just to talk to some people there. Giving an interview is a little tricky, so I'm going to make a video about that here in just a second. But now what we're going to talk about is what does the resume and cover letter look like. So this is what a basic cover letter looks like. So sometimes they'll have you address it to a particular person, but really you start off with a generic statement. And here I've broken it up into 3 basic paragraphs, and you don't really want it to get much longer than this. And basically a cover letter is a grabber. It's something that will catch the hiring person's attention and make them go and look at your resume and become more involved. So you really want to cram all the important stuff into as tight a place as possible. So really, one of the best places is to say where you actually saw the advertisement, and then go through and say why you are interested in this particular position. So maybe you like the company, or maybe you like what they're actually doing. Tell them how you're going to be excited about the job itself. And this shows them that you've actually taken time out to look at the position, and you're way more likely to understand if you're going to take this job or not. So you definitely want to show them that you have taken time out to do a little research, and you're not just applying blindly to this position. Then you want to say basically what kind of degree you have and when you got it. So you want to list your major qualifications. And then here, you want to summarize the major pieces from your resume. So we'll get to this in the resume in just a second. But list in the very front all of the major instruments that you use, especially those that you used with during your undergraduate research experience. Also say if you did do undergraduate research experience, say that you did that with a particular person. Talk about the project you were working on. If you were able to get a publication out of it, you want to mention that, or if you worked at an internship, or if you did anything outside of the norm, anything that separates you out from other applicants, you're going to want to try to list it here. Even if you worked as like an SI or a tutor or something like that, you mention and say that, this gives me interpersonal skills. Anything that separates you out is going to be good in this place. So maybe put the research experience here if you have any outside skills that you want to mention here, and then kind of a blank, covered ending here to say I really look forward to listening to you guys, and then sign it, and then at the bottom you should give them all of your contact information, your name, address, email, and your phone number. And so this is if I was to be applying for a job, I would put this kind of in the body of the email and then attach my resume onto it. So let's take a look at what the resume looks like.